Emily and I are hiking. We just started sailing. We're getting going. And the weather's beautiful. The seas are windy. And we are trying to make it to Cooskie Creek tonight. Here we go. All right, we just passed the first impassable zone, the tiny little one before the Punta Gorda lighthouse, and we're stopped on some rocks to take rocks out of our shoes. It's been mostly like rocky, sandy walking this whole way, and we're making good time and enjoying the sunset. Look at that guy. There's two almond seals in the water right there. They're having a little battle. There we go. Wow. Okay, we just walked into like a little wooded creek, crossing the creek. That's where our trail came in. Walking through a little dinosaur valley. Okay, Emily and I are about to enter the first 4-mile impassable zone. We decided to opt out of staying up at Sea Lion Gulch. Here we go. We got some rocks to cross. The tide is below 2 right now, and we're just gonna make it to Cooskie. All right, we made it through the first half of the impassable zone. We started over there and walked along that rock. Not too bad. We got to this little creek where Emily's stopping for water. Crossed this little creek, weren't quite sure where the trail goes up, and then saw a sign. That's where we're going. All right, we just came down this little creek thing. There's like a stick behind Emily that's sort of marking it, like, hey, this is the way to go up on the bluff so that you don't have to go around this part that's impassable no matter what. And so we're about 3 miles away from Randall Creek, and we're gonna go on these rocks until we get to Cooskie and decide if we wanna keep going or stop there for the day. Hooray! We made it past that choke point right before Randall Creek. The tide was a lot lower, but it was dicey. And now, because there's a group of like 9 very nice young dudes camped at Randall Creek, we're gonna just mosey on. We got light and energy-ish, and we'll head off to Spanish Creek. I am sitting on a rock at Oat Creek. We got to Spanish Creek and there were a lot of people already camped there and we just kind of weren't feeling it. And we decided to just keep pressing on. Now our goal is to get to Kinsey Creek, which is hopefully just a mile up the trail. And because there's not really obvious places to camp here at Oat Creek, even though there's water. But we have light, and so we can keep going. I don't super love walking on this soft sand. So we at Oak Creek are gonna go up kind of by where Emily's coming right now. Go up the trail and keep going on the flat ground. That's the plan. All right, it is the end of our first day. We're getting ready to go to bed. We're pretty pooped. We had a good dinner and we're watching the sunset. This is a view from my tent. It's pretty sweet. And we have a very easy day tomorrow, which is pretty lovely. Hooray. It is 6:15 in the morning and I just woke up and walked down to the beach because, you know, this is where I woke up. The sun is coming up. I can still see a sliver of the moon in the sky behind me. And it's so totally gorgeous out here. I'm so glad I'm here. I had an awesome night's sleep. I was so tired. I had a headache last night. I went to bed at like 8:15. And I slept super solidly. And now I just get to listen to the waves crashing behind me. And the creek next to me. And it's perfect for breakfast. All right, it is noon on our second day. We've just walked from Kinsey Creek past Big Creek. And from Big Creek, a lot of the path is like rocky kind of boulders, kind of like we did yesterday. And we just got to a point where we can go up this steep hill behind us to get on a trail on the bluff, or we can keep walking on more rocks. So we're gonna go up on the trail because we'll have plenty of rocks tonight. And if you're coming from Big Creek, there is a little bit of a trail to avoid the rocks if you go like super close up against the bluff edge. You just follow it along that way. It's 6:15 on Friday night. We are camped at Miller Creek behind me. And camping is sort of, I use that term loosely because we're gonna sleep right now from like 6:15 to maybe 8:30 or 9. We're gonna wake up, we're gonna cook dinner, we're gonna pack up, and we have to hike through the second 4-mile impassable zone between the receding tide, which starts at 11:45 and ends around 3 or 4 in the morning. So we just gotta like do a night hike. We scoped it out. We know how to get onto the beach. We know where the choke points are. We're feeling pretty confident, but Miller Creek is a super cute little site. We have my tent set up over here. We're not even staking them down really. Emily's tent set up over there. The creek behind us for water access. The ocean behind us with the sun setting. And we're pretty stoked. In the seasons where you can have fires, you can have a little fire here, but don't burn the forest down, so. It is Saturday morning. We are camped out at Gyppo Creek in these little tents. Sort of slanted tent site, but there were lots of other tents behind us when we rolled in around 2:30 in the morning. We did the second 4-mile impassable zone in about 3 hours from 11:45 to 2:45 last night. Shout out to our hiking buddy Marty for sticking with us the whole time, and shout out to us for not getting swept out to sea or twisting an ankle. It was really a remarkable experience, something I'll never forget. We were right underneath the Milky Way the whole time. The sky was brilliant, and we just had an incredibly poignant, like all of our senses had to be so on point during that hike. It was really demanding, but remarkable. So we're gonna have a leisurely breakfast from here, from our campsite at Gyppo. We have just sort of a 4-mile walk down to Shelter Cove, which is on the other side of this cove right here. And we're feeling so blessed to be here. Saturday morning, and we are on the trail. We are hiking from Gyppo Creek to Black Sand Beach. We are on mostly rock, but there's no impassables to worry about. There's sand stretches, and we are just cruising along, looking at the cliffs, making our way. It's pretty socked in and foggy, so there's not as much like scenery to take in other than the beautiful bluffs behind us, and we're moseying along. Home stretch, coming into Black Sand Beach. Can't really see much because of the fog, but we are enjoying the fact that there's not a whole bunch of rocks. And look at him, my friend.
Bye, Lost Girls Charlie, love you. Thanks so much for not sweeping me out to sea. We had a lot of fun.
There's the trail, what we can see of it. There's the trailhead back at Black Sands Beach. We made it. Let's head back to the parking lot.